In an explosive interview with CNBC, WWE CEO Nick Khan was told by CNBC's David Faber that Comcast isn't interested in purchasing WWE. Furthermore, it's also been reported that several potential purchasers of the company have a concern about Vince McMahon's future, to the point where it's a sticking point on if they're going to make a bid to purchase World Wrestling Entertainment. Got the latest details on that. Plus, Sami Zayn reportedly is not viewed as a WrestleMania main eventer internally by WWE right now. Batista's given an update on if this will be the year that he's inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. What's Cody Rhodes' current WWE schedule now that he's returned to in-ring action? And Pritchard set to undergo surgery. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. We spoke earlier today about Vince McMahon possibly stepping down if it was the best option for shareholders once the company is sold. Now, that was met with a lot of reaction of, well, was it best for shareholders that he returned in the first place? And the proviso that Vince McMahon returned to WWE under is that he was going to be spearheading, leading this exploration of strategic alternatives, i.e. a sale of WWE. And after posting record quarterly earnings reports yesterday for 2022, Q4 was reported by WWE CEO Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, Frank Riddick. A lot of discussion has been going on about the future of WWE, and Nick Khan himself has actually done a rare interview with CNBC today, and it's a pretty explosive interview because it's opened up a lot of discussion about Vince McMahon's future, about the future of WWE, and about people possibly not wanting to buy the company because of Vince McMahon's current involvement and the allegations and lawsuits that currently surround the executive chairman of the company. Now, since Vince McMahon strong-armed his way back into power at WWE, reportedly to help broker a sale of the company, many have been wondering just who might buy the company. A lot of attention has been focused on Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, who at one point were even rumored to have completed the transaction, while others have felt Comcast, the owner of NBC Universal, would be the ideal player. Of course, this makes a lot of sense given their ties to WWE via the USA Network, which broadcasts Raw and NXT, and Peacock, which is the home to WWE's video library, the WWE Network, on their streaming service. But, according to CNBC analyst David Faber, however, Comcast may not be the favorite in the clubhouse that some, including WWE CEO Nick Khan, might think it is. While interviewing Khan on Friday, that being today, an interview that was then posted in part on Twitter, Faber spilled the beans to Khan after the latter asked about the chances of WWE being sold to Comcast. Quote, "I'm actually hearing probably not," Faber said. "I hate to say it, although another name I do hear is Endeavor. The idea of bringing together UFC and WWE would be very robust," end quote. For his part, Khan wasn't ready to rule Comcast out to the running just yet, saying, quote, "I think they're all possible," Khan said. "We're still bullish on Comcast being possible. Obviously, there's only so much I can say at this moment, but we certainly got a warm reaction in the marketplace from people who seem interested." Now later, Faber asked Khan about how quickly he expects the process of a sale to go, and it was here that Khan gave perhaps the most surprising answer of the interview, saying, quote, "Quick," Khan said. That was it, quick. I'm not trying to be obtuse in saying that, but I think it's going to be a pretty fast process, maybe 3 months. Now, what about Vince McMahon's involvement? What about his future with WWE? What about his future once the sale has been completed? If indeed it has been completed, a lot of people have been speculating on why Vince McMahon came back. Yes, it was under the proviso of exploring strategic alternatives, i.e. selling the company, but some thought it was just a means to an end. Ultimately, it was a big power play by Vince to get back in control of everything like he was previously prior to his retirement. He's already the executive chairman of the company. As of right now, he's not the CEO. He's not the head of creative as he was previously, but some think a sale of the company might be under the proviso of, I'll sell you the company because he's the one that has to approve it, and as long as you say that I'm in charge of everything, I'll give you the keys to the castle, essentially. Now, others are speculating that's not the case, and Nick Khan suggesting previously that it's all about the shareholder getting the best value of money and nothing to do with Vince McMahon's own priorities, considering he's the larger shareholder of the company. Now, the news of a WWE sale has been a key talking point for the company in 2023 since Vince McMahon returned to the board of directors to orchestrate said sale. During yesterday's fourth quarter and full-year earnings call, WWE CEO Nick Khan spoke about Vince McMahon and how he would be willing to step down following a sale should it be to the benefit of the shareholders. As I mentioned, in this interview today with CNBC, he reiterated this point, Khan, saying, quote, Vince has declared to the board he's 100% open to transactions where he's not included in the company moving forward. Now, in a follow-up article by CNBC, the potential future of Vince McMahon in WWE has been a, quote, early sticking point in talks with potential buyers of the company. The article noted, quote, McMahon's potential future involvement in WWE has become an early sticking point in preliminary talks with various buyers, according to people familiar with the matter, who asked not to be named because the discussions are private. Now, look into that how you will. Some people would say that might come directly from Comcast. It's a CNBC article, so it wouldn't be too much of a jump to suggest that Comcast would be, or they own the people that write the article, so people within CNBC could just go up the ladder of command and find a person that would be willing to comment on the matter off the record. Furthermore, though, it could be people within WWE itself. We have seen these leaks come from the board of directors recently. We've seen these leaks to the Wall Street Journal, which have been widely speculated to come directly from WWE with the accusations, with the allegations against McMahon, but also from McMahon's camp himself. Prior to making his return to WWE, there was that Wall Street Journal article that suggested that McMahon himself felt that he had got bad advice advising him to retire in July last year. So, what we could be seeing here is Comcast leaking to CNBC saying, Vince McMahon, we don't want anything to do with him. Now, we're happy to purchase the company or make a bid to buy the company as long as Vince McMahon isn't going to be involved afterwards. Or you could have some people in WWE on the board of directors saying, actually, we're not fielding as many offers as we initially thought because people don't want to work with Vince. Either way, according to this report, Vince McMahon's future is a big sticking point because of the publicity involved and because of the money involved and because Vince McMahon has the final say on any transaction, any purchase of the company. People don't want to work with him. People don't want to negotiate with him, given the fact he's got 4 lawsuits pending against him, plus government and federal investigations into him and the company as well. Now, as I mentioned, when it comes to how quickly this sale could happen, Nick Khan is saying that it could happen fairly quickly. When Vince McMahon returned to WWE's board of directors last month, he did so with the intention of exploring a potential sale of the company. Following that announcement, speculation, of course, has been rampant in regard to who might acquire the company. However, we might know more details sooner rather than later, according to WWE CEO Nick Khan. Now, in this interview with CNBC's Squawk on the Street, Khan revealed that there is currently a lot of interest in the sale of WWE. Quote, there is only so much I can say about it at this moment, but we've certainly got a warm reception in the marketplace from people who seem to be interested. Now, at the time of this recording, it's unknown which parties have been talking to the WWE about a possible sale. We do know that the Reign Group is spearheading this for WWE. Of course, the Reign Group famously have spearheaded a lot of major company transactions. They did it with Chelsea Football Club over here in the United Kingdom. They're actively doing it with Manchester United right now. They're doing it with WWE. I believe they've done it with other sporting franchises in the United States. It's kind of what they do. But as of right now, we don't know who is actively negotiating, who is doing their due diligence, who is considering making a bid to purchase the company. That being said, though, AEW boss Tony Khan has teased his interest in acquiring WWE recently, but there's also been reported interest from Saudi Arabia too. During the CNBC interview, Khan was asked about his expectations regarding the timing of the sale, as we spoke about previously, and that answer that he gave, that surprising one, was, quote, quick, and I'm not trying to be obtuse in saying that, but I think it's going to be a pretty fast process, maybe 3 months. So he's saying 3 months, that's basically by April, May, just after WrestleMania, we could have a completely different WWE in terms of ownership. This current WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, might be the last ever WrestleMania that Vince McMahon has not control over, because he doesn't on the creative side of things, but it might be the last WrestleMania in which Vince McMahon actually owns the majority of WWE, which is a major and monumental moment in pro wrestling history, not just WWE history, but pro wrestling history as a whole. If the sale goes ahead, it's believed, and I stress believed, that McMahon will step away from WWE. According to Khan, McMahon returned to support the shareholders and help facilitate the sale due to him being the majority owner of the company. Of course, nothing is certain, at least not publicly, so at the time of recording this video. And as I mentioned, it's been suggested that he would be open to stepping down if the new owners determine that to be the right thing. Now, obviously, WWE's been preparing for this sale since McMahon returned to the company in January after retiring last summer due to these mounting scandals. As I mentioned earlier, there have been suggestions of McMahon looking for a Dana White type deal. Obviously, that's a situation where the company is sold, but he remains in charge. However, as Nick Khan said, he's suggesting that that's not the case. Whether or not it is, we'll have to wait and see. But that's the latest. Certainly, I think the biggest thing to come out of that interview is probably twofold. One being that Nick Khan saying that this process is going to happen quickly. This sale is going to happen quickly, if indeed it does happen. He's saying 3 months. Now, to me, that suggests there's an offer maybe on the table or negotiations are further than we had previously imagined. Secondly, the interesting part of it certainly is CNBC's David Faber saying, Comcast, I don't think they're interested. Now, why aren't they interested? Do they not think it's value for money? Given their relationship with WWE right now, you would think they'd be front runners. So maybe, again, it's a situation where they just want nothing to do with Vince McMahon. That's the sticking point. The executive chairman's future of the company post-sale is the big sticking point, and the reluctance from several other parties to actively negotiate with a man who's got several accusations hanging over his head. Now, I spoke about WrestleMania. One person obviously going to be heavily involved in it is Sami Zayn. However, an interesting report has come out maybe about the perception of Zayn in WWE right now. Despite overwhelming praise from WWE fans and even Paul Heyman, the dream of Sami Zayn main eventing WrestleMania will reportedly remain just that, a dream, as it's become clear that WWE wouldn't be able to secure Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for WrestleMania 39. The company opted for their second choice to challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship, that allowing the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes to earn his way into the main event via winning the men's Royal Rumble match last weekend. Now, Rhodes will take on Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the grandest stage of them all, and evidently not Sami Zayn. A new report in the Wrestling Observer newsletter indicated that despite getting so hot amid his journey into and now out of the bloodline, two key figures didn't believe Zayn was, quote, a guy who could headline WrestleMania. Those being WWE Chairman Vince McMahon and Chief Content Officer Paul "Triple H" Levesque. Zayn will now reportedly main event Elimination Chamber instead, of course, that taking place in his hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Really interesting there that the report indicates that Vince McMahon himself also believes Zayn couldn't headline a WrestleMania. Curious, because he's not meant to be involved in creative. Is this the first of the discussions that Triple H said possibly could happen? Because if Vince McMahon doesn't believe in it, why should it matter if he's not involved in the creative process? Certainly curious. The key person who matters there, obviously, is Paul "Triple H" Levesque. He's the chief content officer. He has the final say when it comes to creative. Look, it's certainly surprising, but WWE, they've kind of booked themselves into a corner with the Sami Zayn situation in that they had their plans, they mapped it out, and certainly they planned on Zayn getting over, but not this over. Now, a similar scenario, in fairness, did unfold in 2019 as Kofi Kingston gained major traction heading into WrestleMania season, prompting WWE to pull the trigger on his push and have him overtake a spot originally planned for Kevin Owens. At WrestleMania 35, Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan to capture the WWE Championship, cementing the payoff for Kofi Mania. Unfortunately for Zayn, though, it appears that the same plot won't play out for him. On February 18, Elimination Chamber will take place in Zayn's hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and the pieces for the premium live event and Zayn's involvement will likely begin to be forged together tonight on SmackDown. But it's an interesting situation because you've got this guy who's arguably the most popular character, or certainly the most popular now babyface in WWE. We're going to have this fantastic main event. We're going to have this fantastic moment. Montreal, Quebec, Canada, hometown guy challenging for the Undisputed Universal Championship. But the issue that we do have is that we all know Sami Zayn is not winning. And it was kind of the situation back at Clash of the Castle in Cardiff, but this is on a far bigger scale because people said, wait a minute, Drew McIntyre, you're going to beat him in his home country. How are people going to react? And people reacted okay because I think some people still didn't expect Drew McIntyre to win that match. But this time around, People don't want to see Sami Zayn get screwed. People don't want to see Sami Zayn lose. People want to see Sami Zayn get redemption. People want to see Sami Zayn succeed. And they're going to have to try and figure out a way to get out of that situation unscathed. There's been a lot of controversy in Montreal over the years. Perhaps we might see some more coming in the near future when it comes to that Zayn versus Roman Reigns match. What about Batista and the Hall of Fame? Well, Batista was actually scheduled, of course, for the Hall of Fame back in 2020, but then the event was postponed due to the pandemic, so it never happened. The following year, he was busy, so he couldn't be at the Hall of Fame. So when is he going to be inducted? Now, while Dave Batista has confirmed that he is fully retired from wrestling and has no plans to get back in the ring, that doesn't mean the June star has fully ended his affiliation with WWE. After all, Batista has yet to be inducted into the company's Hall of Fame, and if it's up to him, that might happen sooner rather than later. Speaking to Comic Book, Batista shared his thoughts on a possible 2023 induction, saying, quote, "I hope so, but I can't say for sure," Batista said. "I can say that I am trying. Batista likely has 2 Hall of Fame inductions in the future, both as a singles competitor as well as a member of Evolution, alongside Triple H, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton. With Batista being officially retired and this year's Hall of Fame ceremony taking place in Los Angeles, California, it certainly does seem like now would be the right time to induct the animal. Following his retirement from wrestling, the Hollywood career of the former 6-time world champion continues to blow up. After a recent turn in Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, Batista will appear in this year at Knock in the Cabin, an M. Night Shyamalan film, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Dune Part 2 as well. WrestleMania 39 weekend is quickly approaching with less than 2 months until the weekend arrives. That means WWE will likely be announcing the 2023 class of Hall of Fame inductees very soon, and it should come as no shock to see Batista at the top of that list, especially considering he was already put out there. He was announced a couple of years ago, so it's about finding that right time, and now maybe might be the right time. I certainly hope so, because considering everything he's got going on this year, it would just make the most sense. Hollywood as well. He's in all of these blockbuster films this year. It would be great for WWE. It would be great for Batista. To me, now's the right time. Speaking of WrestleMania, of course, it's going to be headlined by Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns, but what's his schedule looking like right now? Well, Cody Rhodes is indeed going to WrestleMania 39, where he'll challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. He'll be doing so coming off a serious injury. Rhodes had been out of action for 7 months, recovering from a torn pectoral muscle prior to his Royal Rumble return and victory, and it would be understandable if he took things slow in the lead-up to the biggest match of his career. Naturally, the American Nightmare won't be taking things easy, though. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's been reported that Rhodes will be back on the road for WWE full-time starting this weekend, where he'll wrestle at live events in Columbus, Georgia, and Pensacola, Florida. As for television, Rhodes is also scheduled for every episode of Monday Night Raw in the lead-up to WrestleMania, meaning fans will get their regular fix of the Royal Rumble winner going forward. Interestingly, Rhodes is currently not scheduled for any appearances on SmackDown, the brand where Reigns and his Bloodline faction have laid claim to over the past several years. It was noted that Rhodes likely will end up on several episodes of SmackDown in the lead up to his match with Reigns, though given the Bloodline's occasional appearances on Raw, it's also possible the feud will receive their attention there, but that's not the priority at the moment. The priority is the Sami Zayn feud with the Bloodline, so don't expect the American Nightmare on SmackDown anytime soon, I would speculate. Rhodes can now focus on getting ready for his match with Reigns over the next 2 months, and already started this past Monday on Raw with a return singles bout against Finn Balor. And just like the Rumble, Rhodes was victorious again, defeating the Judgment Day's leader in the main event, but certainly a big couple of months ahead for the American Nightmare as he has his eyes set on the main event of WrestleMania. Finally, Bruce Pritchard is set to undergo surgery later on this year. Between his duties as a senior vice president of WWE and maintaining his podcast with Conrad Thompson, Bruce Pritchard certainly stays busy. However, it seems the former Brother Love will be spending at least some time away from the work he does this spring. Pritchard revealed on the latest Something to Wrestle With podcast that he's currently scheduled to undergo shoulder surgery soon. Quote, "April, we're going under the knife again, Connie," Pritchard told his co-host, he's mid-say. Pritchard then revealed that he'd be undergoing the same surgery on his left shoulder that he had previously received on his right shoulder, and said he was not looking forward to going through that experience again. On the bright side, Pritchard showed that he now has full range of movement on the shoulder that was repaired, which should hopefully mean his left shoulder would also regain that mobility. Pritchard underwent surgery on his right shoulder last summer, with the WWE executive stating that he would be dealing with a recovery period of about 6 months, right around the same time as his surgery. However, Pritchard was named as interim VP of Talent Relations following the departure of John Laurinaitis. Though he no longer serves in that position, Pritchard is still the executive director of Raw and SmackDown, playing a key role in producing both of these shows. It's currently unknown how much time Pritchard will miss due to his upcoming surgery, but if last year is any indication, he will likely get back to work as soon as possible. And obviously, once he has that surgery, we wish him the best in his recovery. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.